At 3:17 in the morning, I woke up and didn't recognize my own hands. They were thinner, weaker, like they belonged to someone who had already begun leaving. And I remember thinking something that terrified me. Not, am I dying? But, when did I stop living? No one prepares you for the moment the world stops needing you. And if you're not careful, you disappear long before your heart stops. My name is Walter Green. I'm 89 years old now. And I never expected the hardest part of my life would begin after everything finally slowed down. You spend your whole life believing strength will stay with you, believing purpose will always be there in the morning. But one day, it isn't. And no one warns you when that day is coming. When I turned 78, I closed the doors of my repair shop for the last time. For 52 years, I fixed things. Clocks, cabinets, doors that wouldn't close properly. People needed me. Every morning, I woke up knowing exactly where to go and why I mattered. And then suddenly, no one needed anything fixed anymore. The first few weeks felt like a vacation. I slept in, drank tea slowly, watched birds in the garden. But then something strange happened. The days started feeling heavier. I stopped shaving regularly, stopped caring about the clock. One morning, I realized I had no reason to get out of bed. Not because I was tired, but because nothing was waiting for me. That's when a neighbor knocked on my door, holding a broken picture frame. He said, "I heard you used to fix things." Used to. That word hurt more than I expected. I fixed his frame anyway. And that night, I slept better than I had in months. Not because I was exhausted, but because I was needed again. That's when I understood something important. You don't stop living when your job ends. You stop living when your purpose ends. So I began fixing things again. Not for money, but for meaning. And that saved me.
At 81, I dropped a wooden plank, not because it was heavy, because my hands weren't strong enough anymore. That frightened me more than death ever had. Strength doesn't leave all at once. It slips away quietly. You don't notice it until you try to open a stubborn jar, or stand up without using your hands, or carry something you used to carry easily. I realized my body was leaving me because I had stopped using it. So I began lifting small pieces of wood every morning. Nothing impressive, just enough to remind my muscles they still belong to me. I started walking to the park instead of driving. At first, I could barely make it to the bench, but week by week, the distance grew, and something unexpected happened. My confidence came back, not because I was young again, but because I wasn't helpless anymore. Movement didn't just strengthen my body, it strengthened my dignity. The quiet is the hardest part of growing old. People think loneliness is about being alone. It isn't. It's about having no one who remembers you from before. My wife used to fill the house with small noises, the clink of cups, the sound of her humming while watering plants, After she was gone, the silence became unbearable. Days passed without speaking a single word. I could feel myself disappearing, so I forced myself to walk to the same cafe every Thursday. At first I just sat there, no conversations, just presence. Eventually the girl behind the counter learned my name. Then another man started sitting beside me. We talked about nothing important. Weather, birds, old machines. But those small conversations reminded me I still existed. Human beings aren't meant to fade in isolation. We survive through connection, not grand gestures, just being seen. At 84, I woke up at 2 a.m. with a strange tightness in my chest. I almost ignored it. I didn't want to bother anyone, but something inside me said, "Don't be stubborn." The doctor later told me that decision saved my life. He also told me something else. My body wasn't failing me suddenly. It had been warning me for years, through fatigue, through poor sleep, through careless eating, through stress I never acknowledged. I began respecting my body after that. I ate real meals again, not whatever was easiest. I treated sleep like medicine, not an inconvenience. I stopped rushing, stopped worrying about things that didn't matter. And most importantly, I stopped pretending I was still 40. Because pride injures old men faster than time does. I learned to move carefully, to lift wisely, to listen to warning signs, because recovery at my age isn't guaranteed. Now I'm 89. Most of the people I loved are gone. My hands are slower, my steps are shorter, but my days feel fuller than they did at 78. Because I finally understand the truth. Living longer isn't the victory. Living with purpose is. Staying strong enough to care for yourself is. Speaking to people even when it feels difficult is. Feeding your body like it matters because it does. Resting when you need to. Letting go of unnecessary stress. Being careful, not careless. And listening to your body before it whispers its final warning. If you're younger than me, you still have something I don't. Time. Don't wait until everything becomes quiet to learn how to truly live